Do you have an internal locus of control or an external locus of control? And if you're like, Julia, that is some kind of psychobabble, I don't know what you're talking about. That's okay. You are going to know what this is all about by the end of our talk today. Because, well, the truth is that I've talked a lot about locus of control in my videos before, kind of in a roundabout, indirect way, but I've never actually addressed these concepts head on. And so today you're going to learn about the two different locuses of control, external and internal, and I'm going to talk to you about which one is typically more healthy and helpful, and if you are stuck in one of them, why that could be contributing to a lot of the things that you're struggling, like anxiety or depression, or just feeling disconnected, or feeling like your emotions are all over the place and feeling like you are stuck in life. All of this is going to become a lot more clear, and then I'm going to talk to you about how to make things better if you are more stuck in the locus of control. Not going to give it away. You probably already know. But if you're stuck in the one that is less helpful, serving, and productive. It's all going to make more sense in just a few minutes. If you're new here, welcome to our incredible little corner on the internet. Take a second, introduce yourself in the comment section below. If you are back again, always good to have you here. Thanks for being here. Either way, my name is Kristina, and I'm a registered clinical therapist, a researcher, a coach, and the creator of my incredible membership community that I am borderline obsessed with because of how the people in there are taking this work to a deeper level and having shifts, intentional, continuous, important key shifts that are creating the big transformations in their lives. And they are getting supported the whole way through. So if you want more information about that, you can grab that in the description below. I help heart-centered humans break through the crap that is holding them back so that they can like themselves and their lives more every day. And this concept of locus of control has so much to do with breaking through the crap that holds us back. And so I want to talk about each one of those. I'm going to define what each one of them are, and then I'm going to give you some examples of ways of thinking that each orientation, internal versus external locus of control, I'm going to give you some examples of particular things that people usually think in either one, and that's going to help you get more clearly, be able to more clearly identify which orientation you have. Now, it's probably not as exciting as being completely polarized and saying people are either one or the other. Often, we like black and white. We like you're either this or this. But the truth is human beings are rich and complex, and we are all on continuums. And so you're going to find that you might lean more towards one orientation, either external or internal locus of control, or the other, and you're probably going to be on the continuum somewhere. Some of you might be more extreme at one end versus the other, but most people are going to kind of be somewhere in the middle. And this is going to help you to be able to see there are definitely pros and cons to both, but there is one orientation that is generally, if we are more on that side of the continuum, it's going to be more helpful. Let's start with the external locus of control. What is this? This is people who have an external locus of control orientation basically believe that pretty much everything is out of their control. Believe that their life experiences are out of their control, believe that how they think and feel is out of their control, believe that how, they think and feel is determined by circumstances, situations, or other people outside of them. Basically, that your experience of life, what you get in life, what you achieve in life, how you feel on a daily basis, what thoughts you think are based only on external things and are generally pretty much out of your control. So you're kind of at the whim of whatever or whoever is happening around you. And this orientation of external locus of control, it applies to both the good things that happen in your life and the more challenging things that happen in your life. So yeah, let's say that you get a job promotion And if you have an external locus of control, you're going to think, oh, it's just because I got lucky, or it's just because nobody else wanted the job, right? There's going to be some kind of reason why you had the success or achieved the outcome or got the thing that has very little, if not nothing, to do with you and your contribution and your abilities. And another example is if you have an external locus of control, you believe that your feelings are created by things, solely by things that are happening around you. What other people are saying, what other people are doing, maybe even what other people are thinking, what's going on in your circumstances, what's going on in your job, what's going on at home. You think that your feelings are solely being created by things outside of you. If you have an external locus of control, you're also going to think that your abilities or, actions that you can take in life are going to be determined by circumstances outside of you. So let's say an example of this, if you're someone who's like, I want to start exercising, I want to start getting out and moving my body, right? And getting fresh air and getting, just taking deep breaths and like taking care of myself in this way. And then you have this plan and then you look out the window and you see that it's raining or it's going to rain or it's cloudy and you're like, oh, I can't do it because the weather's not going to be great. So, I can't do it. I don't have say over my actions because this is what's happening in my environment. And so that's going to stop me from doing that. And you can probably apply that to a lot of things in your life. If you're like, if things aren't, ideal in the way that I pictured them, if the opportunity is not there the way that I want it to be, then I can't do it. So you see how so much of your experience in life is going to be determined by things on the outside. So from those examples, it might be really clear to you right now that you have an external locus of control. But I also want to give you a few statements that people with a more dominant external locus of control, things that they often think. And then this will help you get even more clear about whether or not you tend to have more of that external locus of control. So the first statement is, I often feel that I have little control over my life or what happens to me. The next statement is, there's no point in trying because people don't get what they deserve. The next statement is, I'm going to feel awful at this event or in this situation or at this gathering that I have to go to. The next statement is, it isn't worth setting goals or making plans because something is inevitably going to go wrong. The next statement is, I can't do this thing, whatever it is, because I'm going to get too stressed out. The next statement is, if someone thinks of me negatively, I'm going to feel terrible and it's going to ruin my day. Or even if someone says something to me that I don't like, I'm going to feel terrible and it's going to ruin my day. So if you related to several of those statements, then chances are you have more of an external locus of control. And also understanding that if you are like, yep, I connected really strongly with a lot of this stuff, then chances are you also are struggling with anxiety or depression, because having an orientation of external locus of control is very strongly tied to anxiety and depression. And just logically, we can see why. When we believe that our experiences of life are not up to us, that it's all out of our hands, then yeah, we're going to be living in fear and worry a lot of the time, or we're going to be feeling really helpless and hopeless and stuck. So now I want to turn over and look at the other side and start looking at an internal locus of control. Now, I'm also going to say that having a 100% internal locus of control is also not like, that's not the goal. You don't want to only think that it's all up to you. And we're going to talk more about this as well. But yeah, you guessed it, that having more of an internal locus of control is going to contribute more to your well-being. You're just going to feel better when you believe that you have influence over your own life. When you are in charge of your own thoughts and feelings, you're just going to be more willing to show up in life because you actually believe that you can make a difference, that you can make an impact, that you have, you can have what you want in life, you can create what you want in life, and you can also feel how you want to feel and experience life the way that you want to experience it. It's not rocket science, just sort of common sense. So, internal locus of control. This is not naively thinking that you have control over everything that happens in your life. But again, you do believe that within your circumstances, even if you can't control them, you are in charge of how you experience them. You always believe that you have choices within your circumstances. And when you believe that, then you are more likely to go out and try different things, experience life in more interesting and fun and experimental ways, because you know that if you fail or if you make a mistake or if something happens and it's not exactly the way that you want it to go, or there's outside forces that are maybe putting up barriers or getting in your way about things, then you don't just sort of throw up your hands and say, well, there's nothing I can do. You always believe in your own ability to work with what you've got, to be able to make something from anything and even make something from nothing. And also taking this to an interpersonal level, where, as we just talked about, having an internal locus of control means that you have determination over how you think and feel over circumstances, over what's happening around you. But with an internal locus of control, you also believe that you have say over how you think and feel based on who's happening around you. So if someone is doing or saying something that you don't like, that even maybe is directed towards you, you believe that you have say over how you are going to think and feel about it. Now, this isn't to say that you're never going to be impacted by someone being cruel or unkind or critical of you. Of course you are. You're a human being. But you also believe that you have the tools and the resources to not get stuck there. That you don't think that your feelings and how you're going through life is going to be determined solely by other people, by what other people think, by how other people treat you, by what other people say, where you have this internal sense of control, that you have this internal sense of management over your own minds and emotions, and that's not being solely outsourced to other people. And so, regardless of what's going on or who's going on around you, you believe and you know that you have choices with how you interact with that, what you do with that, what you make of that. And then that changes how you show up every day. Even going back to our example of the weather. When you have an external locus of control, you think, the weather is no good. I can't get out and exercise. It's raining. I'm going to get wet, blah, 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 whatever. If you have an internal locus of control, then you're like, it's raining. I'm going to put on a rain jacket and a hat and I'm going to get out there, because what I want is to get fresh air and to move my body and to feel better. And so because that's what I want, I am going to find a way to make it happen. Living in Vancouver, which, if you don't know, Vancouver is known for being a very rainy city. And if we let rain stop us from getting outside and getting fresh air, well, then we'd be stopping ourselves from getting outside a whole lot. And there's a saying in Vancouver, I think it's one of the sportswear stores, that says there's no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong clothes. And so that I love, because that is such the epitome of an internal locus of control, where it's not saying that what's happening around me, if we can use this as this metaphor, this beautiful metaphor for so many things, it's not what's happening around me that is going to determine how I think and feel and show up. It's the internal equipment that I have that is going to allow me to face and deal with and handle anything that is happening around me. When you know that you have the tools to handle whoever and whatever comes up in your life, then you are much more likely to get up, to get out, to try things, to experiment with things, to experience things, to have a more rich, rewarding, and fulfilling life. And now, as I've talked about external and internal locus of control, you might have a lot of clarity about which one you tend to have more of, which one you orient more towards. But I want to share with you several statements that people with an internal locus of control tend to think and believe more easily. And these are going to be the ones that I want to invite you to start working on, to start building and creating in your life. I'm going to talk to you more how to do that at the end of this video as well. So here are a few statements of people who have an internal locus of control. They often think that if I put the effort in and work intentionally, I can be successful. They also think that things don't have to go my way in order for me to be okay. And even more so, people don't have to be a certain way in order for me to be okay. They also believe that I don't always have control over my circumstances, but I always have choices within them. Also, that I am more in charge of my mind and emotions than others are. I can decide how to think and feel about challenges or setbacks in my life, thereby changing how I experience challenges or setbacks in my life. They also think that I know what to do to get what I want in my life. Did any of those connect with you? Are there any of those that you're like, that is one that I really want to work on? Let me know in the comment section below. If you want to be developing more of an internal locus of control, it starts with your relationship with yourself. It starts with how solid and secure you feel within yourself, that and a feeling of being solid and secure in who you are is built on trust. You being able to trust yourself. Like any solid and secure relationship, it is founded on trust. And so being able to trust yourself, being able to build that solid foundation in who you are through trusting, being able to trust yourself, is something that I'm going to show you the steps to do in my guide. It's the Simple Steps to Self-Trust. The link for that is in the description below. And this is going to walk you through how to create that self-trust in order to build that solid foundational relationship with yourself that is also going to give you more of a sense of an internal locus of control. When you trust yourself, you show up different. When you feel better about yourself, you create different. When you are comfortable and confident in yourself, you experience different. So make sure you grab that guide. You can also start working through those steps as you wait for registration for the Shift Society to open again. More information about that in the description below. So grab the Simple Steps to Self-Trust, start working on those now, and then get on the wait list for the Shift Society so that when doors open, you are ready to get in there and be fully supported this whole journey through. Always good to have you here. Thanks for sharing your time with me and your brain with me. And until next time, take good care.